Welcome to Business Prowess with Rafael and Dr. Andrea. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Rafael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller is an award-winning international keynote speaker, best-selling author, and CEO of the Red Carpet Connection Publicity, Publishing, and Talent Agency, and CEO of IgniteYourRelationship.com. Known as the Dream Maker, she makes visionaries' dreams come true, bigger than they ever dare to desire.
Good morning, Dr. Andrea. Happy Friday. You are on a whirlwind tour. I love this, but you took the time to be here with us today. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, having me back since I took such a long hiatus. I was like, where's my Sifu?
Right here. I'm right here.
Yeah. So
and the
glad
cool
to see
thing
you.
is that we're going to spend time together next weekend too.
Yeah, we're going to be in Toronto in person, so that'll be great. So it'll be really, really, we got some great things going on, and we have 2 amazing guests. So I'm super excited about this, Sifu. So one of our guests is Nikki Gangemi. Nikki is a friend of mine who, through me, she met Sifu through, different connections. And she and I both are NLP practitioners and trainers. And so have some amazing things in the world. And so I'm so glad that she's been filling in for me. So I'm so glad she gets to be the guest today. That is so exciting. And we have this beautiful Yvonne Trost who's with us. And I don't know enough about Yvonne. That's why I'm so excited.
Why don't we find out? Let's bring him on.
Yeah,
Let's bring him on.
Come on in.
Come on down, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome to Business Prowess. How are you?
So, since I don't know anything about you, Yvonne, can you start off with telling us how amazing you are? This is your opportunity to brag.
Oh my goodness. I never used to be able to say hardly anything kind about myself. And when other people did, you'd be like, oh, you'd come up with an excuse as to, yeah, but that so-and-so really did that. Or, a lot of people don't feel comfortable taking compliments or bragging about themselves. And if you're listening and you're somebody like that, no, you're not alone. And no, you should actually be able to brag about yourself. You should love yourself fully. And that's not selfish. It's not egotistical. It's not narcissistic. So let me practice what I preach and say, I am here because I am a hypnotherapist and a happiness coach. I was in business and IT strategy for a quarter of a century, for 25 years, leading Fortune 500 and federal agencies in massive transformations so that they could, improve their bottom line. And it was always about the bottom line, and success was defined financially. Over the years, I learned through life and through work that success is defined on what's inside first. And then the outside success comes with that. So that's my superpower. And that's why I'm here to help leaders know that success starts from within, and they're going to get more than they ever dreamed of outside of themselves. And they're actually going to enjoy the process versus working their lives away miserable, hoping someday when they get to retire that they can feel good and happy. You don't have to wait. So I hope I can share some wisdom in that vein today with you.
Oh, beautiful. I got to tell you, so many people that I encounter, when you ask them to tell you about themselves, they get flustered. And it's important to realize that sometimes by what we do every single day, we get to involve ourselves in our own lives. So like you said, to be able to speak freely on the beauty that is inside of you and to let it out and let other people know. And eventually, when enough people know about you, you don't have to say much because they already know when you're coming, right?
Yeah. You become a magnet and you attract. That's why I have my company is called LimitlessYou. And I have my weekly tribe, I call it, or masterminds, where we learn about human being, mind, body, spirit, 101, growing. And we start every single session with celebrations. I want them to celebrate themselves, because quite often we don't know how to do that. We've been taught like to not, that's egotistical. But what we were talking about a little bit before the show started, if you don't feel your self-love cup full, if you can't love yourself and accept a compliment or even give yourself one, it's going to be really hard for you to get that from other people, because you don't get what you want. You get what you are. So I have to, right, do these things, even though sometimes they don't feel super comfortable still bragging about myself. It gets more and more comfortable, because then you're like, oh, I'm just loving myself. That's okay. I don't have to feel shame or judgment for loving myself.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. And there's, mindful matters. Who could that be?
Oh. I wonder.
Nikki, because we really don't even know you. Tell us about you.
About me. Well, I resonated so much with what Yvonne said. I used to have a hard time accepting compliments too. And I had to learn how to just say, thank you, and smile and nod, and then like button up so I don't like give a butt or throw it back. And that's what I used to do with people. So a little bit about me is I've just been on this personal growth journey since I was 16 years old, was always interested in quieting down my mind, because it was not only noisy in there, but it was just so mean. I was like my own mean girl. And I really had to learn how to change the self-talk. I had to learn how to let go a lot of the energy, still in process, because we always are, right, evolving and becoming. But now I get to help other people. And I call myself a personal trainer for your mind. And it's really just learning how to flex those muscles. How do you start to think differently and lean into into possibility that you might have just capped yourself off from? So working with high achievers like myself, I help them to rewire those mental programs that keep them stuck and stagnant sometimes.
Beautiful. Dr. Andrea, you decided, and that's why you're on this tour, if you will, that you were going to not only help other people, but you said, you know what, how about me? And I love that you did that. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
So I'm very much a nurturer. I care about other people highly. I always put other people first to the highest degree. And I actually really love serving people. And then I realized at one point, people make fun of me because I say, in a loving way, because I say we all the time, and they're like, what do you think, you're multiple people? And I said, no, I say we for two reasons. One is when you serve people, you say, how can we help you? And you put your arm out with your tail out. And then I said, but when you're royalty, you say, we are here for you. And you're talking about we as royalty, the community, serving all of the constituents within your space. And so I think of it as both ways. So I'm serving from the bottom up and from the top down. And what I had forgotten is that when you serve from the top down first, you have to take care of you so that you have all the time and energy and resources and organization so that you have enough to take care of more people. So if you serve from the bottom up, you're only usually serving one or a small group, where if I serve from the top down, then I have all that I need to be able to serve a larger community, a larger group of people. And so that's what really I've stood into. And it's really funny. Who would have thought having colorectal cancer and having that kick in the ass? I'm just going to go ahead and say what it was. Really pushed me into that, because then I realized I had to take care of me first. And then otherwise there was going to be no me. In fact, a little quick funny story. I bought a property at an absolute auction, ended up having a hidden lien. It was a hidden federal lien. I already did lien checks and had no idea that there was this lien on it. So then now they were trying to get this money from me to pay for this, and it was unexpected. And And so when they reached out to me saying, oh, you have to pay this bill. And I said, you know what, can I have some grace on this? I said, I'm going through a colorectal cancer diagnosis, and it's in your best interest that I live to pay the bills. For you to receive the money from me, otherwise you're getting nothing. And it was really those kinds of weird conversations that made me realize I had to really step into this. And even though I've been really active it's been 22 weeks out now since I had that, but since I had the surgery and everything, and I'm cancer free, but I've been moving and grooving the whole time. But I officially have only been back to work with clients 6 weeks, but I have been on the road. I'm taking care of things, and I'm doing it out of my choice because I have so much energy and passion for life. So apparently sometimes, now I always say I personally would have preferred a postcard, but since I never read the mail, I wouldn't have gotten the notice anyways. So apparently I needed something pretty severe so it would get my attention. So I'm going to start listening to the intuition now. But yeah, that's what it was. It took all of that, and now we are on fire. We just reorganized my business and relaunched it. I have the Quantum Reality Recode, and that is my system combined with NLP and hypnosis and my own things that is now launched. And I have a third business that I launched that's called the Wealth and Legacy Alliance, that is communities and masterminds for people to give them everything they need so they can go. Because I realize the importance for action and clarity more than ever. So thank you for letting me share that. You can see how excited I am about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Sifu, what about you? Let's talk about you. You're always so humble.
What can I say? Here's the thing. For me personally, it comes down to following what God has been telling me my whole life is help other people because of the gifts he's given me. And so my whole mission is to help as many people as I can. This is why I am doing Sifu's Mind Body Method, to help people realign with who they are, both mentally and physically. And for me, I get the most joy when I see someone reclaim their life, to say, this is truly what I'm meant to do. Every morning, and people don't realize it, I get a text, several text messages early in the morning, anywhere between 5:30 and 6 a.m. And it's some of my clients telling me they just finished a workout, they did this, they did that. And I respond back. And the first time that somebody did that and I responded back, they were like, oh my God, you're awake. I'm like, I've already been to the gym. I've already worked out. I've already done my things. And they're like, oh my gosh. I said, please don't hesitate to text me. If I'm sleeping, obviously, if you could text me at 3 a.m, once in a while, I do wake up at 2:30. I don't know why. God said, get out of bed, go do something. So sometimes I've been at the gym at 3 a.m, but it's not normal for me to do that. But if I am called to do that, then that's what I do, because I can't lay in bed and go, what should I do? No, I get out of bed because I am alive. I feel it. So that's who I am. I'm a person who loves to help someone else. And it's not for the money. Don't get me wrong. We do like the moolah, but the passion has to come first. The willingness to help someone else is my drive. And that's who I am. And this is why I'm loving today's topic, because it's breaking free from limitations and that mindset transformation. Yvonne, you have a business based on breaking free.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
So, like I said, I was brought up in a small little town, similar to like what Dr. Andrea was saying, like you just give. It was the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Well, it didn't always work out because number one, you're doing unto others. They might not like what you want. And then you wait for them to give back and then they never do. So I changed it to the platinum rule, and I decided to teach people a little bit more about the mind, body, spirit, because we don't get human being 101 in school. We don't get it from our parents usually. And so LimitlessYou is the name of my company. UnlockLimitlessYou.com is where you can find us. The reason I named it that is because we all are limitless, but we've been taught and conditioned our whole lives to avoid, to risk the fear of all the limits. We put all our energy into what we don't want to happen that limits us versus tapping into our creativity and our human right to dream and to manifest and to attract. And once I realized that it doesn't take years, it doesn't take medicine, it doesn't even take plant-based medicine. It just takes meditation, some hypnosis, and some other tools that I can teach people in their tool belt to change their lives in a matter of months, to make what they thought was just a dream. Like, of course that's possible. Of course that's already here. And so similar to Nikki, I had nicknamed myself, I'm a subconscious safari guide. So much information is out there right now where people like throw it at you. And then you're like, well, how do you know what's real? And one person says one thing and another person says the exact opposite. And supposedly they both make your dreams come true. It's hard to decide. So that's what I tell people. This is an experience-based adventure. Even if I can see answers, I don't give them to people. I guide them. We think about what it is. There's 3 steps. First, you have to realize, not just with your conscious mind, though. That's why the hypnosis and coherence therapy and memory consolidations and things like that we do is so important, because by the time you're 35, only 5% of your life, of your personality, of your decision-making is done by your conscious mind. 95% is with your subconscious. And so that's why the first step, everybody knows awareness. We read a lot of books. I've even had clients who wrote books and they're like, well, I get it, Yvonne, but I just can't change. I can't embody it. And it's because they hadn't gotten to the root of it in their subconscious mind. You have to rip out those limiting beliefs at the root. I don't know if anybody else besides me has to mow, but if you mow over weeds, what happens? You just grow back, right? So we have to rip them out at the root, and then we don't just leave it empty, because then that stuff will just fall back in. We have to recode and plant with the seeds that people want. Yes. Most of the time, people can tell me what they don't want. I have to work with them to figure out, well, what is it that you do want? Well, I would want this, but then they come up with all the limits and the excuses and the reasons why it's not possible. So we have to get rid of those, and we have to dare to dream and realize dreams can be reality. And that's the recode. And then the rewrite is you take action, micro actions and macro actions. And that's why I support people either one-on-one or in group, or we do it all together. But that's why it's a tribe. It's a family. It's, I think, who was it? Napoleon Hill that said you're the average of who you surround yourself with, like the top 5 to 10 people. You have to surround yourself with people that are waking up. Sometimes people, I don't know, Dr. Andrea, if you run into this where they're like, ooh, hypnosis, I'm not sure about that, and they get nervous. I'm like, you're already in a social trance. You've been in it your whole life. This is just waking you up to your own reality and your own choice. So it's amazing.
I love that. Nikki and I can both, we're both master hypnotists as well. Nikki, why don't you go ahead and talk about that? Because I know that you have stories about people who have thought we're too woo or something.
Yes, I'm loving everything that Yvonne is saying. And people will say the same thing to me, whether it's hypnosis. Oh, I don't want you to control my mind. I'm afraid of hypnosis. And it's like, well, have you ever binge watched a show on Netflix? Have you ever driven somewhere and you arrived and thought, oh, I'm here already? Like, we are in trance a lot, quite often. So you've already been hypnotized. And sometimes that's enough to break down the barriers. But I agree. Awareness is one thing, and we know it's the first step, and it's not all there is. One thing that I find that is required for change is a willingness. Like, yes, you're willing. And one of the things that I find, and I'll speak for myself and I'll speak for clients I've worked with, sometimes it's hard. That's a hard step, to be willing to admit that maybe you got it wrong. And maybe you played the wrong the wrong game, the wrong hand. What do you call that? You're playing cards, the deck. Maybe you played that wrong hand for not just an hour, but maybe you played it for 30 or 40 years. You played the wrong game, like myself. And that's a hard pill to swallow. So to be aware of something is one thing, and then to be willing to say, you know what, maybe I need to open up my mind to what else is possible. And that takes a lot of courage to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And what I will let people know is if they're not open to believing that change is possible in less than 2 months, we're not the right program. I'm not the right coach. One thing that's really helped me and so many of my clients, if we can get rid of 3 things in life, right? I like my 3s. If we can get rid of fear, unless you're in mortal danger, right? Including fear of the unknown, like I lived in for so many years, staying stuck in a small pond. The second is judgment of self and others. So I get right and wrong out of the vocabulary. There is no right and wrong. There just is what it is. And you can observe it with compassion and curiosity as to how did I make that decision? Why might I have done that? What can I learn from it? And then the third is self-pity or self-victimization. Stop feeling bad about yourself, because then it tells yourself you should feel bad. So when I think about the mistakes that I've made, I see them, and in business, we talk about fail forward. And if you are familiar with Agile or anything like that, if you're listening, this is like personal fail forward. There is no true failure. There is no wrong. There is no mistake. It is what it is. Now, you have the choice to choose what you're going to take from it, how you're going to grow from it. A lot of my clients are like, oh, my parents were good and I don't want to blame them. I'm like, this isn't a blame game. I love my parents. And I gave meaning to things that happened in my childhood that my parents, who I've talked to about it, gave totally opposite meanings. And that's okay. There is no right or wrong. It happens as it happens. I don't know. I love Sadhguru. He says, the past isn't real. You can't go back. The future is just in your imagination. The only thing that is real is right now. So if you're torturing yourself because of the past or worried about the future, it's a socially accepted level of schizophrenia. He didn't say that, but basically that's what it is, because you're suffering something that isn't real. So I let people know it doesn't exist anymore. It just happened, and that's okay. How do you want to grow from it? You know, I think it's Tony Robbins, or I don't know if he came up with it, but I love the phrase. I didn't get it for so long. Now it's like just light bulbs are on all over the place. Things happen for you, not to you. So I don't care how many years you perhaps made choices that felt uncomfortable or led to, it happened for you. My terrible marriage and divorce happened for me. I would have never woken up, right? I would have never woken up and let my friend take me to yoga, which I thought was boring and there were no endorphins. I wouldn't have meditated. Who could sit still for that long, right? I wouldn't have started manifesting. That's woo-woo. And I definitely wouldn't have studied hypnotherapy, because that's just weird, right? It happens for you. Thank God those bad things, quote unquote, bad, right? So that's what I want. If you're listening and you're like, oh, I've made mistakes, blah, blah, good. We're here. This is Earth School, right? We are here on Earth School to learn. If we don't make any mistakes, can we really grow? If we don't have any lessons, can we really grow? And if you're not growing, what are you doing? You're dying. We didn't come here to die. We came here to live.
Yvonne, I got to say, can you just talk the whole show? Thank you.
I'm sorry. I get excited too.
So one of the things that you said, I love listening to you and Dr. Andrea and Nikki. One of the things that you said that maybe some people didn't really catch was that, what is it that you don't want? Because a lot of people, they go, I want this, I want that, but the things that they don't want, they're still holding on to, and they're not letting those go, saying, I really don't want this, I don't want that. But all they keep saying is, this is what I want, but they keep attracting those things they really don't want. So I think we have to do that cleansing, if you will, of our mind, to really get what we want out of life. And we need to do that first thing, right? With the way, even the way we plan our day. Because one of the things I always say, and friends of mine have always said, is if you don't plan your day, somebody else will plan it for you. If you don't plan what you want to accept, somebody else will plan that for you as well. When we were children, our parents planned all of our activities, or if it wasn't our parents, whoever we lived with. And we basically had no say, but we think that is normal when we get into a relationship that, oh, whatever she wants or whatever he wants, you should still have a voice, because at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, it's your life and you need to grasp it, hold on to it, and man, make it a journey.
There was a couple of things that came out in hearing both of you speak. And, you know, one of the things that I just wanted to point out that I think is always funny about podcasts and radio, I really wanted there to be a really long pregnant pause after Sifu spoke. But if we do that, people think we have dead air. So I felt like the need to talk quickly anyways, because being able to land and really hear. That's why Sifu repeated some things that Yvonne was saying to pull that out and expand it longer for our listeners to listen. When we think about who we are and how we show up, and this idea that we live in a trance anyways, and how some people think of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, meditation as, you know, woo-woo stuff, or, you know, devil worshiping or something, which has nothing to do with that whatsoever. What they don't realize is that they are consciously aware of what's happening the whole time. And if they are resistant to it, or if it's something that they are not interested, doesn't buy in with their values, they will reject it, and they won't do it, or they won't think it, or they won't believe it. And that is exactly how it works. You're 100% in control. And sometimes people don't realize that in hypnosis, it's 100% control. And often I think it's because they see the entertainment shows where you have a hypnotist who's doing a show where, you know, asks somebody to bark like a chicken or something like that. It's quack like a chicken, quack like a chicken, quack like a duck, whatever. I say bark like a chicken because I think it's funnier. Apparently, I think I'm a comedian, and maybe
it gave me a really good visual.
And those people need that. They wouldn't have done it unless they wanted to do it. Some part of them is like, I want permission to be able to be fun and silly, knowing that fun and silly, no one ever looks at them and says, they're dumb, those are stupid people. They think, wow, how brave, how funny they are. They're laughing with them, not at them, you know, and they don't realize that that's their self-conscious, subconscious giving them permission to be silly. And the people who aren't silly are the people, like, if you ever watch another show like that, the people who are released from the show to go sit down, or who are just sit there in the chair and are never asked to do anything, are the people who weren't congruent with the message. And so they just, as a hypnotist, you can see that in their eyes and in their micro expressions. And so you're not going to ask them to do the thing because they don't want to do the thing. So I just wanted to dispel that myth for people so that they know that what that is. And I refer to hypnosis as, and all these different things that we do as painless, knifeless brain surgery, because we can rewire your brain. All right. Like, think it, here I have my computer wire. If I could rewire my brain so that I can have the things that I want and show up like I want and act the way that's most important to me. And to, by the way, we don't ever erase anything. We just release being in the emotion. There's one thing to, I'll give you the example. So next week is my birthday, and one of my best friends died on my birthday several years ago. And I could every year be in sadness and cry and be upset over it. But because I was able to release the emotion of her death, I'm still sad. I am very sad that she's dead, but I don't have to be in sad. So I don't have to express the emotion. I can just know that, boy, I would really, really rather her be alive, but I can celebrate the fact that she was in my life and be good about it. And once in a while, something will come up, and I was in Atlanta, and we had gone to Atlanta together, and one tear fell down my cheek as I was driving there, thinking of some memories. And then I was able to go, wow, we had so much fun. I'm so glad she was in my life. And like you can hear the emotion in my voice a little, but that's all. That's it. And then I can go step right back into celebration and happiness. If we could give you that gift as hypnotists and NLP practitioners, or whether you want to, whoever you're looking for that will help you, that resonates with how you think in the world, please just, I think all of us would say, we don't care who you go to, just go to someone.
That's right.
You don't. And just as a little side note, before I want someone else to share, did you guys notice in the comments, I don't know where I wrote it now, but I said that Sifu is a martial artist of your mouth, because he teaches you
I like that.
not only with your body, but how to use your mouth wisely.
Here it is. I found it. So there it is. With that in mind, then I have to loop into this one, because let me share this with everybody. Take a look. Hi, I'm Sifu Rafael. What if I told you 90 days is all it takes to detox your body, clear your mind, and completely reset your life? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a complete system that blends movement, mindset, journaling, nutrition, hydration, and fasting into one powerful experience. This is your invitation to get stronger, clearer, and more in control from the inside out. Click the link and join Sifu's Mind-Body Method today. Don't miss your chance to reset your life. There you go. You led me right into that one, so thank you.
Yes.
Mindy, listen, I'm putting Nikki and everybody's together. I said Mindy. There's a woman that I used to work with a long time ago, and she was so strict onto everything she did with her life. And she was in charge of payroll. And one of the guys used to come up to me and say all the time, man, if I put an invoice in, she wants to know down to the penny every little thing. And I said, because she's very methodical. She's very keyed in onto her job. I said, so don't blame her for doing her job. Accept it. And then you do it the right way, so that we're working together in the right place. So, Nikki, you're talking about mindset transformation. And by the way, Nikki is also part of my mindset method, because she's our mindset coach in the program. So the program is not just for the body, but it's also for the mind. And that's why Nikki's part of it as well. But you talk about mindset transformation. Why is that so important in today's age, with everybody all over the place, and to refocus?
It's important. And I want to go back to the story you were just sharing about the woman with the numbers, and everything just had to be right. Because as you were telling that story, before you said the word methodical, the word that came to my mind was rigid. And those are two very different words that have a very different feeling. And that brings me back to the mindset transformation. We can label something in our life as one thing, and it can be very rigid and inflexible and keep us in a box and hold us apart from the things that we want. So how can we start to reframe? And that's one of the tools of NLP, is reframing. And Sifu, you just did that. My mind went to, oh, she sounds like such a rigid person. Here you go saying she was very methodical. Even the way you said it, it had a totally different feel. So one of the things that I help my clients with is I listen to what they say, and I guide them like Yvonne does, I love that subconscious safari guide them to choose different words that make a totally different, not only a representation in their mind, but a different feel. Rigid feels very different from methodical. And that's the mindset that I think is so important. It's like, how can you be flexible in your thinking? How can you be open to different labels? Because when you do that, you're going to see the world very differently and feel different. And when you do that, you're going to show up different and take different action.
Love that.
Mindset is
I
important.
always, go ahead.
I was saying mindset is important, and energy, both. And I think they kind of work together.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say that the words that we use help us, right? Or sometimes even define us, because a lot of times, if you encounter somebody who doesn't know how to communicate properly and they start using foul language, is because that's all they know, but they're not willing to grasp something better, a better way to communicate. So they'll curse, they'll say these things. And instead of saying, is there a better way for me to get my point across? Because sometimes certain people, you don't know if they're mad, if they're angry, if they're sad, because they use the F word. And to me, that's fabulous, but it's not really what they should be using to express themselves. So a lot of people lose the sense of expression because of the words they choose on a daily basis. So we should think a little bit before we speak, right? And one of the things that I've heard 1,000 times from really incredible people is that even when they're asked a question, they don't answer right away. They count in their head. And then they don't even wait for the question to set in. They wait for it, and then they allow the question to come in so that they can give a better response. And I think that's a brilliant way of looking at how we interact with another human. So, because they're not just a human, they have feelings, right? So a lot of times we're not sensitive. We just say, oh, that's a person. No, that's a person with feelings, with emotions, with a family, with ideology, all of these different things. So we need to start to pull away a little bit and see each other as a loving human being.
Beautifully said.
Well,
Gracias.
speaking of loving and wonderful and people that are around you, you might notice I keep waving and saying hello to people as they walk by. Sifu and I and Nikki, maybe Yvonne is too, we don't know yet. We're all code breakers, part of Code Breaker Technologies. And so we all are communicators and licensed in different levels of bank code, which is a personality assessment that allows you to connect with people on a really beautiful, resourceful level so that you can connect to them in their heart and their mind. You don't waste their time, and then you're able to talk to them the way they want to be heard in their model of the world. And so I'm here at Codebreaker Summit in Costa Mesa. Sherry Trees, the founder, and today's her like big VIP summit weekend. And Lorenzo is over there, and Calvin just walked by. Jeffrey Gittimer is here, the Little Red Book of Sales. Laurel is here. I don't know your last name, Laurel. What? Laurel Rolls is here, and just so many wonderful, amazing people. And isn't she amazing? Look at her. She's like, I'm here. She's in action. She's taking action, saying, I'm going to be on Andrea's podcast. I love her. And we're having so much fun here. They just taught us behind the scenes how to do some trainings the last couple days. And it's just so amazing. So Yvonne, this is something you might find resourceful too, because I've been able to embed the NLP and hypnosis and hypnotic language along with bank so that I can communicate people so that they hear and understand what I'm saying better. So thank you guys for letting me do that, because it's just like a big warm family, and I'm super missing you guys here. It'd be so nice to hug you and Sifu, and let's bring Yvonne along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we think about this show, Business Prowess, it's about bringing incredible people together to share their ideas and concepts and the way that we do communicate. because I believe that business is all about connections. It's all about the people. It's all about how we interact, right? So the fact that you're at this event and you took the time to be here with us, and Yvonne is at her place. Nobody's talking to her except us, but you're still being engaged with us. And Nikki is at her place and I'm at my place, but we're all still coming together. So this business mindset, if you will, is about how can we enhance someone else's life through the skills that we've honed throughout our journey, our careers. Yvonne, I'd love to hear how you understood that the skills that you were building helped you come to who you are today. And the same thing goes for Nikki. If you can both share that, I'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. So if you're not familiar, it used to be called Anderson Consulting, and then it was Accenture. We, back in the day, didn't sell widgets. We were a services company. We were consulting. It was the people. It was us. And when we were a private company, it was like a family, right? You worked hard and you played hard, and they knew they had psychology involved in their interviews. They found the hard workers with a good business ethic, but actually seemed confident, but on the inside probably weren't, and needed the atta-girls and the atta-boys, right? And so I was thinking about this morning with, I mean, AI it's just moving so fast, and it can do so much, and everybody's worried about it taking their jobs, and everybody's on social media all the time. And I feel like we have to be super thoughtful and aware that our humanity doesn't atrophy. So growing up, I learned a lot of skills on like how to hard work, and they treated us kind of like robots. Like we worked all the time. And what it led me to realize, and it gave me such great skills around teamwork, around collaboration, and around humanity. Like the old Yvonne, if you knew her, she was like a command and control, because that's how she was brought up. And people they're like, you're kind of intimidating, right? And I thought, oh, well, we're supposed to get the job done. We're supposed to make the clients happy. How am I supposed to have time to make all these humans happy, right? Like we all just have to do what we have to do. And I had lost some of my humanity in that hustle. And luckily I had an amazing leader who brought me back. And he's like, you will go to lunch with this person that you're having a problem with, that's making everybody else uncomfortable, until you two learn to get along. I'm like, what? But I'm so grateful. I have like 3 people in my life who have been just amazing mentors in the hustle of it all. And life is getting faster, and technology is getting faster, and people are getting more scared, and then they're becoming more reliant on it. So I loved what you said around the human being and connecting with a human being. And so if you're a leader and you think you don't have time for this, or you think it's woo-woo, I'm here to tell you, you don't not have time for it. Because what's going to differentiate you in the workplace, it's not going to be what you know. AI knows all of that. It's not going to be even necessarily who you know. I can put into AI, tell me all the people that know this and that, and la, 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 and then spit me back the thing, right? And it's probably 80-95% accurate. So you learning about your human being and the skills, the mind, body, spirit gifts you've been given at birth that you were taught to ignore, that you weren't taught what they were or how to use them, that is what's going to differentiate you as a leader. And what I think is that AI doesn't have to take all of our jobs. It lets us get to be human again. So rather than working our lives away like robots, like I used to do, I can lean on technology to do a lot of that, so that I can be the highest version of my human being self and connect, like you were talking about, Sifu, and teaching other people how to connect. So we become a higher species.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it. Nikki, love to hear your insights.
Yeah. Oh, so many thoughts. I'm going to start with this one, connect. I think that in order for us to connect with other people, it's really important that we slow down, get quiet, tune in, and connect with ourselves. And one of the best things you could do for yourself is to disconnect from all the things out there, the phone, put it down, stop the scroll, and just get quiet, because there's so much wisdom and intuition within us. I have said for a long time that mindfulness was my ticket to mental freedom, because there was so much noise and I was always busy and running, and still am. And I've got to be aware of that to say, am I running towards something or away from something? And let me just get still and breathe and listen. So it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. And could it be scary? Sure. That's why a lot of people, I think, just stay busy. It's scary to just sit with yourself. But when you do, and you keep seeing that, oh, I'm still here. It's safe. It's safe to let yourself feel.
Love
Nikki,
that.
I love that. I want people to really hear what you said about getting still and meditation. I've never done that before. Now I will meditate probably 2 to 3 hours a day. And can I tell you, creativity, you get downloads, you get ideas, like, not that your thoughts are busy, things just start to come to you. So if you're in business, you've probably heard about convergent versus divergent thinking. So when Nikki says get still, right? You're not in convergent thinking, like trying to problem solve, because then your vision gets very narrow and laser focused, because you're in some kind of fight or flight or freeze and you're trying to solve a problem and you can't see all the opportunities. When you get still, like Nikki said, when you start to meditate, your aperture opens and you can go into divergence and you can see all these opportunities and possibilities and beautiful things, whether you believe in the quantum field or not, they are out there. And then you can come back to a better path than you could have ever thought of on your own in your little busy hamster wheel running self. Trust me.
Yeah. Thank you for that. By the way, ladies, what an incredible conversation. It has come to that time. We actually are over. So we're going to take 30 seconds. Just tell us a little bit about what somebody can expect. You're going to have your website going across. Nikki, you're up first, my dear.
Thank you, Sifu. So you can visit my website at nikkigangemi.com and start by downloading your complimentary Calm Guide. Calm, C-A-L-M, is a 4-step framework that helps you. How do you quiet down that mind? Get intentional, get still, and start accessing those answers so that you can take steps forward towards the outcome that you want.
Love it. Thank you so much for that. Everybody make sure you go download, okay?
Yes.
Yvonne, you're up.
I want you to unlock yourself, your limitless you. So that's how you remember, unlocklimitlessyou.com. That's where I want you to be able to do whatever you want, no matter how much money or how much time you have. So we have a ton of free resources in our resources column. I would highly recommend, you do have 3 minutes. Take our self-love quiz. It's unlocklimitlessyou.com/quiz. 12 questions, super simple, super easy. You'll learn things about yourself, your way of being with yourself. Like we talked about, you need to have that relationship with yourself before you can have it with somebody else in the way that you want. And you'll learn about your way of being with others. Learn about yourself. And then there's free meditations. There's meditations you can download. You can do self-paced, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, whatever it is. There's something there for everybody. My only piece of advice I want to leave you with, whether you go download either of our tools, like Dr. Andrea said earlier, just don't wait. I was going to wait 10 years until my kids got out of college to start living because of the fear of the unknown. And I am so glad that I didn't wait, not just for myself, but for my children and everybody that's around me. So don't wait. Do something, even if it's small. Take a 3-minute quiz. Do something for you. It is not selfish. You deserve it.
Don't wait, people. Don't wait. Dr. Andrea, you're up.
Yeah, they're calling me out. So you're going to see the hook come around my neck. So I'm Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller, the Red Carpet Connection. I'm all about connection, love, mastery. I'm a Chief Influence Strategic Officer. And so what that means is I use the combination of mind mastery and publicity to help elite customers take their businesses to the top and beyond. So I am just super excited, and we're on rocket fuel right now. So love you guys. Oh, Dennis, I always love it when Dennis reaches out from China. So I got to run. Love you guys.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'm Sifu Rafael, and what can I say? I love helping people. It's my mission in life, and if you're ready to reset your life, go to sifurafael.com/SMBM. Do yourself a favor. Take control of your life. Ladies, what an incredible pleasure. Wow. Yvonne, I'm gonna call you later if that's okay. And
Absolutely.
we'll have a chat. And Nikki, you're a superstar, young lady. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as a
My
guest.
heart to you, girl. My heart to you. All right. I got a boogie. I got another show. So
Okay.
all right.
Everybody have a great day.
You too.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.